Okay, so I want to have a discussion basically, and I'm just kind of like just gonna be talking about this one topic that's kind of been on my mind for the past 2 weeks. Let me turn that off. So let me start off by saying, of course, my name is Kianna. Welcome back to my channel. I'm 24 years old. I'm the oldest on my mom's side, and I'm second to oldest on my dad's side. I have an older stepbrother. I have no sisters, all brothers. I have 4. So it goes my stepbrother, then it's me, then I have a twin, so right under me is my twin brother, and I have a younger brother who's 20, and then I have my youngest brother who's 8 years old. So all that to say, I just kind of like, it's a lot been on my mind lately, to be quite honest with you. And it's just mainly about just changing the narrative. I'm also a single mom of 3 girls, 5, 4, and 9 months. So I just want to change the narrative. So like there's this post that I saw the other day on, what did I see it on? I saw it on Facebook. Give me 1 second. Let me pull it up so that I can quote it like verbatim what it said. So the post said, or let me see if I can have you see it. Okay, pause if you want to read that. I don't know if it's backwards, but I'll also say it. But it's a black man walking out in the back, or not even a black man, it's just a shadow, a black shadow. And then it's sitting at the table, it's a mom saying, I don't need a man. And then right next to her is the daughter saying, I don't want a man. And then right next to her, it's the baby, who is the boy, who says, I don't want to be a man. And then at the bottom of the picture has the domino effect. And that kind of like hit me, because that's something that I'm working so hard to change in me as a mom, as well as in my brothers, and you know, just like people around me, you know, of course people that I talk to and listen, you know, that listen or whatever, ask me their opinion, is I want to change the narrative. Now I also saw this other post that was basically like, you know, oh, a man is supposed to work and take care of the woman and all that kind of good stuff, which I still do believe. But to me, like, times have changed since then. Like, that was back in the time where it was hard for women to find a job. And it was economically it made more sense economically back then for the woman to stay home and watch the kids, and for the husband to go out, and whether it was like working on a train somewhere, you know, like basically just doing things with his hand that paid well enough to take care of a woman and her 3, 4, 5 kids to feed their family. It was more kind of like, I guess, feasible, or it made more sense back then for that to happen. Now that's 40, 50 plus years ago, because that's how my mom grew up, with her mom and her dad. He worked, she stayed at home, took care of the kids, you know, until, you know, she worked because she wanted to, not because she had to, so to speak. But the narrative has changed now. Like, first of all, a lot of our young black men are in jail, or they have a criminal record, or to be honest, it's just not easy for them to find a job just because they are black males. So it's easier for a woman, such as myself, a black woman, to go out and get a job. It may not be a good paying job, or, you know, whatever, but it's easier for me to find a job than, for example, my brother, who has a criminal record, who, you know, it's just not easy for him to walk into some place, get hired, and start. Now, I don't want that to be an excuse, because I solely believe a man should be able to do, it's a different type of work, basically. Like, a man needs to work with his hands. He needs to be a carpenter, an electrician, a plumber, working on the ship channel. He needs to be doing something, I feel, with his hands. And a woman, so to speak, has a desk job. This is my office. I have a desk job. And not saying like I wouldn't mind working on the ship channel, because to be honest, they make good money. But that's just not something that my body necessarily is built for, to be out in the sun and do laborious work and physical manual labor. Like, that's not something that I was, as you know, like anatomy, my body's not built for that. So it's like, sorry, I'm gonna put my leg up because I'm having a conversation. But, or let me say, I want this to be a conversation when I put this video out, because I want to know like what other people think. Like, and I also want us to not be so hard as far as Black women, whether or not we're single, raising kids on our own, in a relationship, or whatever with the father of our kids. I want us to not be so hard on the Black man, just because me having brothers and no sisters, I know how hard it is to find a job or to go out there, to muster up the energy to go to a job interview, only in the back of your mind knowing that they're going to tell you no because you're a Black man. No, I'm not saying that doesn't mean you still shouldn't go out and try to get it, but think about how discouraging that is for them. And then also to come home and have your woman kind of like bitch at you and not be sympathetic to the fact, you know, like what you're trying to do. I feel that that's extremely hard. And same thing for our Black men. Don't underestimate a person being a mom. Like, yes, it's something that we should do, and I love being a mom, wouldn't trade it for anything in the world. But at the same time, it gets hard too. Like, it gets hard dealing with kids, dealing with crying, constantly putting others, little kids, before your own needs, whether it be getting them food immediately when they want it, or bathing them, or, you know, just going down the list of things that they need on a daily basis. You tend, as a mom or as a parent, whether or not you're a woman or a man, you tend to lose yourself. So your spouse or whoever is coming into that situation needs to know what they're coming into, what they're up against, and just be sympathetic. Like, I really want to see Black people win. I want to see us become that unit again, whether or not you get back with your baby daddy or your baby mama, or you find someone new. Like, just become that unit and realize that if you guys are going to commit to each other and going to be there for one another, that you just can't get up and walk away. Because if kids are involved, it's not that easy, because your kids, whether or not it be their kids, your kids, they're going to remember you, they're going to ask. And then do you really want your mark being left in a negative way on these kids who eventually have to grow up and remember that? So that's just been on my mind lately, because, you know, I have, like I said, I mentioned before, I have brothers, and then I have myself, and dealing in the interactions that I've had with my children's fathers, I know how I want to treat them, and I know, and I am treating them that way, and I know that I want it to be a positive experience. I don't want it to be negative. I don't want to be like, for example, like a bitter baby mama, because I'm not bitter. Like, fine, we didn't work out. That's totally fine with me. I'm not meant for you. You're not meant for me. However you want to put it, we're not meant for each other. If that's what makes you feel better. But the kids don't have to suffer. Nobody has to be rude and mean to each other. Like, if, you know, like, that's not going to be beneficial to the kid. Let's only speak about the kid, you know, the welfare of the child. And just like keep it pushing. But I'm not here to make your life harder, or you shouldn't be trying to make my life harder just because we're not together. Like, it didn't work out, that's fine. The feelings, sure, they'll fade, eventually go away, that's great. And that's what needs to happen, so you can shift your focus from that relationship and healing to putting that same energy into things that are going to get you polished up and ready for the next person to come in and see you for who you are and go at it again. As far as, you know, like trying to find someone, because not everybody is meant for everybody. And I'm pretty sure you guys know that not everybody's meant for everybody. So don't be hung up on, oh, y'all didn't work it out, you know, oh, y'all couldn't make it work. Don't try to make it work for the sake of the kid either, because at the end of the day, it ain't gonna last too much longer, and who got time to waste nowadays? So yeah, I guess that's all I wanted to say. Is I just want to, you know, like speak and just, you know, like bring positivity. Like, I'm really trying, I'm hoping that this generation could turn things around as far as just the narrative of how we're looked at as Black people, male or female, and then as young people. Because it's like, you know how you have your granny or your auntie who's like, you know, they always got something to say, you know, about, you know, like, back in the day we did this, or back in the day we did that. Like, they're saying that because whatever they see now isn't functional and it's not working. Not saying like times haven't changed, so the situation's not, you know, like can't change too. The situation's always going to change, but it always needs to be functioning. Like it always needs to be some type of progress moving forward. Like what we're doing now, we're at a standstill. Like where my mom, you know, how my mom dealt with, you know, my dad, it wasn't in the, you know, best of the way. Let me not say best, it was what she could do at the moment. The best that she could do at the moment, and love her for that. But you know, like you want to do better, you know, and I took from that, and I know that I want to, you know, that kind of shaped how I wanted to relate to the father of my kids. So yeah, I just really hope that this opens a discussion, because that's all I want, is just for it to be a topic. Like and you can, my friends, like you can ask anybody. Like I will give you my honest opinion about a subject. Whether or not you like it, that's not my concern, because don't ask me if you aren't afraid to hear opposite of what you think, because that's always a possibility. When you ask somebody something, they can not always agree with you. And honestly, you should want people around you that are like that. Someone that's going to give you different than what you know or what you think. So I hope that this, you know, starts a discussion. I'm not trying to argue with anybody. I'm not trying to talk down on anybody and what they currently do with the children of with the mother or father of their kids. That's not the point of this. The point of this is to just open that discussion for it to be, open the discussion for it to be, open the topic for it to be a discussion that opposite people can have. Like as far as, you know, maybe a man coming home one day and it's just like, hey babe, how was your day? Like, how are the kids? Were they good? Were they bad? Do you need help with anything? Even though he may have just got off a 10-hour shift in the sun, just offering that help is more beneficial to you just assuming she got it. Same thing for women. Like, hey, both of y'all could be working jobs. Your job may not pay nearly as much as his does, but coming home from work, you coming home from work, hey babe, are all the bills good? Are they taken care of? Like, do you need, you know, I get my check on Friday, do we need to put that somewhere? You know, even though he may have all the bills taken care of and then some, just offering could, you know, mean the world to him, because it's like you don't take whatever he's doing for granted. So yeah, that's basically it. I hope, you know, eventually this will open up the topic for discussion, so that we can kind of honestly change some stuff. Like, that's what I want as a young black single millennial mom, to change some stuff. So thank you.